The Calgary Police Service continues to seek public assistance in relation to a 2016 homicide that occurred in the community of Panorama. Just after midnight in the early morning of Friday, August 12, 2016, emergency crews were called for reports of a shooting in the 200 block of Panamount Way Northwest. Louie Angelo Mojica, 27 years at the time, was found seriously injured in the front seat of a white Dodge Charger. Short time later, he was declared deceased on scene. With the assistance from the public and through surveillance video in the area, investigators can confirm that the vehicle used by offenders was a mid-2000 dark blue Ford Freestar van. A photo of the van is available on the City of Calgary newsroom. Police are asking anyone who may have seen this vehicle or who may have information on this vehicle around the time of the homicide to contact the police. This shooting is believed to be a targeted attack, and investigators continue to piece together the motive for the shooting. Anyone with information about the Mojica homicide is asked to contact police by calling the non-emergency line at 403-266-1234 or the homicide unit tip line at 403-428-8877. Tips can also be left anonymously by contacting the Crime Stoppers unit. At this time, and before I answer any questions, I'd like to introduce the stepfather, Mark, M-A-R-C. Last name is Tremblay, T-R-E-M-B-L-A, to say a few words. Mark is the stepfather of the victim, Louie Mojica, and at this time I'll ask him to come.
A year ago, our son Louie Angelo was shot in Panorama. He left behind his 8-year-old son, 2 stepbrothers, his mother, and me. He has a lot of family and friends that misses him. Angelo and his son were very close. They played together and went to movie, playgrounds, and festivals all the time. Angelo would bring his son over for dinner and celebration with us. We really miss his visit when he would bring us food and gifts. Angelo was involved in high school sport, football, baseball, and soccer. He liked snowboard as well. He loved to read, going through large book within a day or two. I really want his son to have all his questions answered when he asked them in the future. We would like anybody that has any information about what happened to Angelo to call police. It's very hard for all of us to get any closure without knowing what happened, especially for his mother and his little boy. Thank you.
If you have any questions for Mark.
I didn't know if you were prepared for that. Sorry,
Yes.
Mark. I guess just talk about how this past year has been for you.
It's been one of the hardest years of our life. It's hard when it happens, and it gets harder as time goes on. So.
I don't mean to be disrespectful, but we were talking a little bit about, the officer had mentioned about it being a targeted attack. I mean, how do you maybe feel about him going down the wrong path, or could you talk a little bit about how that happened, or how you feel?
Well, no, it's hard to know what goes on in the kid's mind. I mean, you hear a lot of news these days about young people that takes wrong choice, and it's a sad story all around. It's either gets killed or go in jail, or there's no good ending for anybody.
Obviously, Mark, this has been a year, and now with this new information that's come out, I guess what are your hopes, and are you confident that there's going to be some sort of resolution moving forward?
Well, I can't talk about that, but I really hope that we can get some closure into how he died.
Was part of your motivation coming here today is that maybe you wanted the people who are responsible for killing your son to know that, you know, he was a person, he was a father, he had people who cared about him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was really involved with his family, and you know, it's important for everybody to know that.
Can you launch questions about the investigation?
Thanks, Mark. And yeah, it's no secret they're tragic events, and greatly impacts the victim's family and friends. And so from an investigative standpoint, we put a lot of time and resources in order to try to bring forth answers to the family and closure and ultimately justice.
So maybe starting to talk a little bit about this latest development with the photo, just how we've come, you know, a year ahead, and how we've kind of come to this, you know, the work that went into getting this new information, and you know, what you're hoping to get out of it.
Right. I mean, these investigations are, you know, as you've heard before, very slow and complex. There's no doubt about that. We were able to corroborate and confirm the type of this vehicle, the Ford Freestar, the color. I know there were earlier reports it might be a Dodge Caravan. We collected a great deal of surveillance video in the area, talked to many witnesses, and with this new piece, we are hoping that might jog someone's memory of this particular vehicle being seen prior, after, or around that incident, maybe parked, maybe with individuals in it. But any information pertaining to that vehicle, we're hoping will help us move forward with this investigation.
What have been some of the challenges with this investigation in particular?
Well, there's a number of challenges to these investigations, and we don't always get the cooperation of everyone. There's people who fear sometimes for retaliation or other things. They just don't want to be coming forward and provide a statement, having to show up and testify in court. And there's so many significant insignificant and significant pieces that we have to sift through and determine if they're relevant or not. And you know, but there's always people out there with a little bit more. And we've been fortunate in the past with the cooperation of not only the media but the public in getting pieces, particular on this file and others. And with those pieces, we have been able to get a little bit better focus, or just the piece of information we're needing to move forward. So we're hoping we can do that again.
Is there anything that stuck out to you guys as to why you say this is targeted versus random? Is there an association, some sort of involvement in crime?
Yeah, again, all I can say on that is, you know, the way this was orchestrated, it's pretty clear it was a planned attack. The location and the timing, without getting into specifics, investigators are confident that this was a planned attack.
Have there been, I mean, in terms of suspects, have there been times throughout the investigation where you felt like you had a suspect, where you're close in, and then because of those challenges that you mentioned about people coming forward, that it just hasn't gotten to that point? I mean, how has the process been in terms of identifying possible suspects over the last year?
Yeah, that's always a challenge, because even if we have some information on maybe even a person of interest, you need a lot more than that to move a file forward. So even if police receive some information or tips, put us in a direction, then, you know, it substantially takes a lot more evidence to move the file forward to the process where now we're going to actually charge someone and actually prosecute someone. But, you know, and I'm talking general terms, but when these planned attacks or acts of violence that take place, they're typically orchestrated by more than one individual, and that kind of broadens the scope for the people who have knowledge. Could be a roommate, could be a boyfriend, could be a girlfriend, you know, even could be someone a neighbor who knows a piece, who's seen something. Those are all relevant, and that's what we're seeking for public assistance for.
I know you're still looking for a motive, but have you been able to determine why Mr. Mojica was there that evening?
Not other than, it's no secret that victim lived close by. We believe he left his residence, was temporarily stopped, and it was a short time later when he was shot and killed.
Any other questions?
I'm assuming that no weapons were recovered, correct?
I can't speak on that.